Hi, Alex. This is Luke with WSI Connect. I was reaching out today. I know that you've received a lot of the information that we put together around how we help Montessori schools with enrollment and some different tips for them to kind of do it themselves if they can. I was taking a quick look at your website and thought I'd put together a video with some tips around things that you could do to kind of get a little bit better performance out of it. Just to give you a little bit of background, we've done a lot of work with Montessori schools. We're also a franchise. I'm a franchise owner myself. WSI Connect is the business that I own, and it's a part of the WSI Global Network, which is a network of about 800 other WSI franchises worldwide. So not only do we have a lot of experience with Montessori schools, but we have a lot of experience with franchise marketing as well. And so I was kind of taking a look at what your footprint was in terms of the schools that you have. And I noticed that you have kind of a grouping here around San Antonio. So I thought I would just kind of plug this into Google and see how you guys were performing on Google. Um, as I kind of pass through some of the ads here and look at this local pack is where we see the majority of leads come from for prospective parents for the Montessori schools that we work with. Of course, word of mouth is always going to be the best, but sometimes it's not enough. In schools that have a lot of capacity for growth, especially new schools, and I'm guessing you have a few of those since you're a franchise organization, they need to get more out of Google so that they can help fill up those empty seats and start generating revenue for their school. But so what I see here is I don't actually see either of your schools showing up here. I was kind of looking through here to see if there's any Pinnacle Montessori in these classic results down here, and I don't see a whole lot of it until we get to the very bottom here. So you see that you've got to pass up a lot of your kind of local competitors before people get to your school and learn about it. So I kind of wanted to diagnose and get a little bit better idea of why you may not be performing as well in Google as you could. So I'm looking at your Alamo Ranch page here, and then I took a look at your North San Antonio page as well. And what I notice is they're almost identical. There's very few changes that are made within this content. Even as we kind of scroll through, we're looking at the different types of text. We look at the different photos. All the links are very similar. And so because this content's not unique, Google is looking at these pages, and it's probably picking out one school across your website that it's putting into its index. And it's choosing not to include these pages in its index because the content is not unique. So the number one recommendation that I would make is to take a look at your programs for each school and try and create this in a unique way with unique images. The images should have unique names to them, including the school name within the image is often a very good way to do that. And then just making sure that all the content really kind of describes each program in a really easy format for parents to kind of skim and understand would go a very long way to help improve kind of user experience, but it would also really help your Google performance as well. And I know you've got a lot of locations to kind of think about doing that. And whenever we run into Montessori kind of organizations that own multiple schools, we always recommend that you start with the schools that have the greatest amount of capacity. So in your new schools, you would want to kind of take a look at some of these program pages for those particular schools, and then create revised content for them. If the school itself is at full capacity, then it really doesn't make sense to put a whole lot of effort into marketing. But getting some also getting some unique pictures from the school would go a long way to kind of helping establish credibility with your visitors. For a lot of your parents, if they do come from Google, this may be the very first time, very first impression that they have of the school environment. And when you start to see a lot of the same photos over and over again, it kind of breaks down that credibility and kind of inherent trust that somebody has when they visit your website for the first time. So that, again, I would prioritize with the schools that need the most help. But replacing content, replacing pictures, doing stuff like that with fresh content that's unique to each location, it would really go a long way for both user experience and Google. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out. You can always respond to the email that I sent you, and we'd be happy to set up some time and give you an idea of how we could help. Thanks.